Hey people of the VC, it's Andy Cloudy Milder. Welcome to the next part of my A Decade of Metal series, where we're going to cover all of the items in my collection that were originally released in 2015. My collection really started to explode in this year. The vinyl bug had bit me, and I broke my first promise to myself of only sticking to 80s second-hand releases. I started exploring new releases and new bands, and it has been a rabbit hole I have been going down ever since. Let me know what you think. Arkham Witch Weird Tales, although probably known more, certainly by me, as a sort of doom-laden heavy metal band, this is pretty much a full-on punk album from Arkham Witch. Diamond, female-fronted hard rock band from Canada. This is Never Wanna Die. Epic heavy metal band, Final Sign, Hold High the Flame. It's a US-based band. Sean Palata on vocals. Really, really good metal band album, that one. Sinister Vibes by Hard Action. This is more sort of, it's like a punky hard rock, heavy, difficult to describe, but really, really good. It's a Finnish band, I believe. Worth checking out. I've not heard that for ages though, so I'll have to give that another spin. Michael Schenker's Temple of Rock, Spirit on a Mission. This was the album that really kind of got me on a Schenker kick. I had very little Michael Schenker in my collection before picking this up, but the stars aligned and now I've got quite a bit thanks to this album. Do not adjust your sets. This is a CD. This is Spectrus No Name. This is Brazilian. I think they're classed as metalcore. I'm not really that familiar with metalcore, but I do quite like this. This was VCLT I actually got from Gus. See, the CD comes in like a 7-inch gatefold. Unusual cover that. Annoying to file, obviously. Starborn, The Dreaming City. This is UK power metal. Really, really good album. Well, more of an EP really, I guess. Six songs on it. Released their debut album this year, actually. Titan's Eve, Chasing the Devil. I can't for the life of me remember what this sounds like. I believe it's thrash, but I'm going to have to get it. Well, now I've got it out, I'm going to have to give it a spin to remind myself. It's not that memorable, though, from what I remember. And last on the CD only is the follow-on EP from Toledo Steel. This is 0 Hour. Great little EP, this. From one of my favourite new wave of traditional heavy metal bands from the UK. Actor, Paranoia. This is a Chris Black project, the mastermind behind High Spirits. It's more of a sort of psychedelic hard rock album than heavy metal. Antique Scream, Two Bad Dudes. I guess it's kind of stoner rock. It was a bit of a blind buy when I was on a trip in the US. It's not that great an album. The quality of the vinyl's shocking, just crackles all the way through. So, it's been a long, long time since I heard that one. Some more stoner rock, and this is one that I've not actually listened to yet. Out of the inbox, this is 8 Machine live at Freak Valley. I have heard snippets of this, which is why I ended up buying it, but I just haven't got around to listening to it all the way through yet. So, that'll come soon. Arkham Witch. kind of doom-laden traditional heavy metal. You've seen some of these in previous videos. This is Hammer Storm. It's a 7-track EP. Really cool stuff. Armored Saint, win hands down. Took me a long time to get into this album, but once it clicked, I really enjoy it. Black Trip, Shadowline is another one of those Thin Lizzy-esque bands that's really good. Came with a CD as well, which I absolutely love when albums come with CDs, but this is an absolutely fantastic album. Some more stoner next. Chubby Thunderous Bad Kush Masters. Try saying that after a drink or two. Really great EP, this one. 6 tracks. EP's called Earth Hog, if you're going to look it up. Another favourite from 2015, Deadlord, Heads Held High. Another tip of the hat to Thin Lizzy on this one. Superb album. More sort of psychedelic, stoner, proggy, doominess going on here. So this is a Law by Elder. I struggle to read the white text on the green background there. Difficult album to get into. Absolutely fantastic live. I much prefer them live, seen them a couple of times, than their studio stuff. First of a couple of Enforcer albums from 2015. First up, studio album From Beyond. Great traditional heavy metal. Followed closely by Live by Fire, which is a live album, funnily enough. Just a single disc live album. Sounds fantastic. August 2015, that show was taken from. More traditional heavy metal. Flight, self-titled. Can't remember where these guys are from, actually. It's I know the vocals were a little different and perhaps a little bit harder to get into, but once it clicks, it's a very fine album. Second album I have by Funeral Horse. This is A Divinity for the Wicked, or A Divinity for the Motherfuckers. Again, stoner rock, quite a few stoner doom style releases in 2016. But from stoner to thrash metal. This is Island's Gamma Bomb with Untouchable Glory. This was one of the first new releases that I bought after I started collecting vinyl records again, and one of the catalysts that has resulted in me having so many in such a short time. But this is a killer thrash album. Back to traditional heavy metal, Canada's Iron Kingdom, Ride for Glory, autographed courtesy of Greg the Egg, Blackmore Rules, limited to 500 copies, is number 22. And from a band that sounds like Iron Maiden to the last album, that studio album that Iron Maiden released, which is of course The Book of Souls. And along with The Book of Souls, of course, I've also got the CD as well. The CD is in hardback book CD edition. And there's the back as well. an excellent album. I think it's a little bit underrated. I think a lot of people are so familiar and into Iron Maiden of the 80s, they fail to give credit to the work that they do in the 2000s. Back to the Doom, we've got Iron Void with their second album, Doomsday, signed by the band, and I saw them a couple of years ago supporting Wretch. Yeah, this is great. Great doom metal. More sort of heavy metal stroke doom than full on doom, but great album nonetheless. The collaboration that is Metal Allegiance, which I also have on CD. So this is mainly a collaboration between Dave Ellefson, Alex Skolnick, and Mike Portnoy. Sorry, it's basically a bunch of heavy metal musicians getting together and performing some killer metal. There's Mark Ozagueda on there, Chuck Billy on there, Phil Anselmo. It's just a host of the metal elite getting together. Mirror, new wave of traditional heavy metal. I think this band is Greek, but this album is absolutely superb. I'm surprised these guys haven't released anything since this. This is on Metal Blade. Well worth checking out. Night Demon. This was a recent acquisition. In fact, I've not actually spun this one yet, although I'm pretty familiar with the album because I've taken a rip of the CD that comes with it and listened to the digital version of it many times. Saw these guys live in Glasgow a couple of weeks ago and supporting Sacred Reich, and they blew Sacred Reich away, in my humble opinion. Race Against Time. This was a new wave of British heavy metal band. Another band, I think that was Dave Halliday. I've mentioned him before when I've talked about Hell. This is the first time these tracks have been released. It's on High Roller, who always do a fantastic job of reissues, and you can see the recordings compiled by Andy Sleep. So Andy Sleep has been quite instrumental in bringing Dave Halliday's work to the masses. Ram Subversivum on purple vinyl. Also have the CD. Good Ram album. Lots of killer tunes and tracks on this one. A good place to start as well, I think, if you've not been into Ram before. Next up, some I think this tends to be on the horrible side of thrash metal. Took a few listens before I could really get into this. This is Ranger Where Evil Dwells. A little bit like Vector Outdoor Isolation. I've got to be in the right mood to listen to that one. Raven Extermination. Picked this up when I saw Raven a year or so ago in Glasgow. Signed by the Gallagher brothers. Double album. Raven can pretty much do no wrong. Back to the Doom. Saturn Dust, self-titled. New wave of British heavy metal pioneers, Saxon, the Battering Ram. It's a good album. It heavily influenced the sound by Andy Sleep's production. I seem to give Andy Sleep a little bit of a bad press, but I think they did a better job on Thunderbolt, where they sounded a little bit more Saxon than on here. It's definitely a Saxon album, but I think they were perhaps led a little bit on the production side. Some stoner UK band, Sergeant Thunderhoof. This is Ziggurat. It's a 5-track EP. Although it's probably more album length, really, because of the tracks are like 8-9 minutes long. We followed that up in the same year with Ride of the Hoof. This is a double album though, and again there's tracks of like 8, 9, 13 minutes on here. Really, really good sort of stoner doom metal. Slayer, Repentless. At the time of making this video, I have not heard this album. I'm not one to rush out and buy Slayer. I saw this a couple of weeks ago for an excellent price on Amazon, so I pulled the trigger. I'll just get round to it when I'm ready. But an album I have listened to many times. That's Stereo Nasty, Nasty by Nature. Also have the CD of that as well. This is an Irish traditional heavy metal band. Oh, get that later. And it's just killer traditional heavy metal on Diabolic Might Records. Terminus, also from Ireland. This album is called the Reaper's Spiral, sorry. And the interesting thing here is it came with the cover, and the cover's kind of embossed with the logo on. All the songs are kind of sci-fi inspired by I think it's Isaac Asimov stories. Really interesting vocals on here as well. Again, could take a little bit of time to get used to, but what do you do? Well, worth investing that time. Second album I have from Thunder Mother. This is Road Fever. Fantastic hard rock album. Yeah, really good stuff. Tomb of Finland, Below the Green. I had this as VCLT off Andy's vinyl then a few years ago now. Not really my cup of tea. I've not played it for a while. I'll give it another go. It's kind of doom, death, black metal combination. I'll try it again sometime. The vocals aren't really my style though. And lastly, from the 2015 pile, more stoner. This is Valkyrie with Shadows. How about that for an album cover? This is a project by Pete Adams of Baroness, and is a lot more kind of metal than the Baroness releases. So, what do you think of everything I have from 2015 vinyl and CD? As I said, a lot more I picked up this year, but I went a bit crazier in 2016. You'll see all those next. Drop me a comment below, tell me what I am missing from 2015 that I really should add to my collection. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.